Hello and welcome to Art with Mr. P. This week we are exploring collage. Now so far collage has been mostly about cutting and sticking, but collage is so much more. It can be about texture, remember that's how things look, how they feel. It can be about instant colour, it's about shape, we can create lines. Collage can cover all the visual elements. Collage can be quite 3D. Doesn't have to be 2D. So we can find items maybe in the depths of a kitchen drawer and stick those onto our artwork. Anyway, enough from me. Let's get on with our collage. So the cunning plan is to put together a landscape using collage. So remember, this is just a starting point, and I'm going to give you a few pointers. But how you do this is really up to you. My challenge, Mr. P's challenge for this week is, can you make it better than mine? How would you make it better? More detail, more texture, more shape, more line. Anyway, I'm going to sketch this out vaguely. I'm going to split the page into thirds. So I think I'm going to put the horizon about a third of the way down. So that's vaguely where my horizon will be. And then I want the foreground to be about a third of the way up. So at this point in it, in theory, we have the sky, far away ground and close by ground. Right, hopefully you've got a load of materials, bits of magazines, bits of newspapers, bits left over from other weeks. And I'm going to start off in the sky. I'm going to start off with the furthest away bit. And I'm thinking that I might use some of this old style tracing paper. And if I rip it, I get a furry edge, much different kind of edge here. If I rip it, and I definitely don't get a straight edge. Something like that. And if I put that on there, that could look like cloud. Now, this is where I wish I'd painted something, a sky type colour to put in here, but I haven't, so I can't use that. But I think what I'll do is I'll rip another bit of this old tracing paper. So much more than tracing paper. And I think I'll put that in there. It's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, it looks a little bit like cloud. Now, remember when you're collaging, you don't have to stick whatever it is you're sticking down so it's flat. In actual fact, on something like this, it's much nicer if you don't stick it down properly at all. And then you get a little bit of shadow and a bit of light reflecting. So something like that. And what I'm thinking is, earlier I cut out this orange circle, and that would make a very nice sun to put in about a third of the way across, about there. How's that for an atmospheric sky? Now we need the faraway hills. Now faraway hills are going to be mostly greys and blues and that kind of colour. And this is where the fun, I think this is quite fun, because I'm looking through magazines, old magazines and things that I've collected, and I'm trying to take out bits that I find that are blue and grey. So looking through here, this old magazine, that this sea background, sea, oh look at that, looks perfect, yeah? So here's a weird thing. I'm going to use that. And what I mean when I say weird is, I'm going to tear this into hopefully kind of mountain shapes. Okay, so we're looking for kind of triangles. Something like that. Okay. I think I might cut that. Okay, so in the photograph that is sky, but now it has become mountain. So that's quite interesting, because sometimes actually when you look at a landscape, it's difficult to tell whether something is mountain or sky in the mist. Yeah, so when I look out of the window that I'm in the room at the moment, I can see the Isle of Man, but sometimes in the evening the Isle of Man on the horizon looks a little bit like a cloud on the horizon. Yeah, okay, so there's that bit. Now I'm going to look for maybe some green. What can I find in a magazine? Let's have a look. Looking for green. So I'm looking through this magazine. Oh, there's some green, but not the right kind. We don't want too much detail in it. Oh, look, that would have made good mountains. Some green. Let's find some green. Definitely a shortage of green in it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to rip that. Just that way, I think. Take out the photographs. Take out the corners. And that can get rid of the puffin, because we don't want any monster puffins really. I'll get another bit of green. Taking out puffins, that's a terrible thing to do. Right. Now what I quite like going on here that we've got at the moment is that we've got text in here, and I think that that is perfectly valid actually. I have no problems with that at all. So look, the green's getting warmer as we get closer, so that these mountains look much further away. Yeah, I better stick this down while we're here. So there goes the glue. But I don't need to put that much on because I'm not worried about it being flat. In actual fact, it's better if it's not flat. I think I've said that before. And it goes. And then the warmer green, which will look closer here. Something like that. I think I'll get another bit of green for there. Here's a bit. And it goes just there. So you can see how we're building this up. You can see the strength of collage, that you couldn't do this easily with paint. And then there are much more interesting things, because once you get close and have a look, you can actually see details. Maybe the text is about the image, maybe things like these little WPGs and solar panels here are could be part of this visual conversation, yeah, whatever that means. Now down here I'd like fields and things, and these will be the warmest colours. So I thought this stripiness could look a little bit like a field. So I'm going to stick that. Now, because it's warm as well, and it's well defined, that is going to look really close, yeah, in our composition. Yeah, it's definitely going to look like the closest bit. Of course, that goes along with the fact that It's a bit like a ploughed field. And then next to it, I might put a piece of this, which is also warm. Might go that way up. I think we'll go that way up. And actually, I've been looking at this bird all morning. I think its chest would make a very good field. So I think I might put that in there. So can you see what we're doing here? We've got the sun in the sky with some haze and cloud. We've got faraway mountains. We've got middle distance. And then we've got the close-up bit. I'd like to put hedges all around here. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to rip thin slithers of green and then put those around the edges of the fields, yeah. I might put this text upside down so it's not quite so easy to read. Okay, I think I'll put in this bit. I don't like this bit much. I'm going to put in a little bit of wood here. So I'm going to rip out some triangle-ish shapes. And these hopefully will look like part of a plantation. Something like that. We'll have 3 pine trees down here. There we are. And we might put some over here actually. Let's see what happens. Or at least one anyway. Let's put that there, and let's put one in the hedge where the join is. That look a bit contrived. Well, there we are. Okay, so there we have that bit. Now, how can you take this further? You could collage a small tractor or a farmhouse or whatever you think. This looks a bit weird, doesn't it? So I'm going to put in a little bit there to cover up, because generally mountains don't cave in woods. There we are. Don't want any straight lines. Unfold that. There it is. Okay, that's better. Okay, so you get the idea. You could put roads in. We need a hedge there, don't we? Let's use some of this colour, different kind of head. It gets thicker as it comes towards us, even better. Okay, and then using the scissors we can trim off the edges so it's neat. Neatish. And there we have it. So how can you, using this as a starting point, how can you make that better? So I've asked you to collage a landscape. Now remember, what I ask you to do is just a starting point. It's just me demonstrating possibilities, and it's for you to explore those possibilities and take them further. Just because I put fields in a certain place, or I put the sun in a certain place, or I put clouds in with using a certain material, it doesn't mean you have to. The artwork is your work, your decisions. All I do is produce the stimulus, the starting point to get you going. Next week, we're going back to drawing again, very popular. Until then, bye-bye.